May this video be the catalyst that awakens your inner potential, guiding you towards wholeness and unconditional love.
Rahul wants a boyfriend. It's legal. So, I think every child has boyfriends and girlfriends. Yes? When you were 3, 4, 5 years of age, didn't you have boyfriends and girlfriends? You had. Now you're giving it a new meaning to this simple friend. Well, a friend need not necessarily mean you have to get physical with them. Hello? This is something that you have picked up from certain societies where body is everything. See, why is it so that today it has become like… this was only in United States, but today it's everywhere. If you say a relationship, people think it's a body-based relationship. Well, don't I have a relationship with you right now? Don't you have a relationship with your parents, your friends, your teachers? You don't have a relationship? Hello? Yes. But you cannot say, if you say, I have a relationship with my teacher, they will think, oh, you are doing some hanky-panky with your teacher. Why have we become like this? See, the problem is just this, your intelligence has been hijacked by your hormones. If I say, you're my friend, that means I must mess with your body, is that a necessity? Hello? Can't we be? Okay, you're a girl if you're my friend, but I can't say you're my girlfriend because it'll be understood in a different way. Why this has happened is, we are giving too much significance to body-based relationships. You must understand, there are relationships deeper than the body. You can hold such profound relationships with people without your body being involved in it, isn't it so? Possible or no? Well, body-based relationship may be necessary with somebody, that is fine, that's your choice. But that is only possible in a limited way. But friendship and relationships are possible at various levels with enormous number of people, possible or no? You can hold intimate relationships with thousands of people. I have very intimate relationship. The way I'm sitting here right now, I assume a certain intimacy with you. But if I use the word intimacy, people think two bodies should be rubbing. See, if two bodies are rubbing, only skin is touching, all right? Skin is the outermost cover of who you are, how can that be intimate? I don't consider that intimate. I can penetrate people, not just their minds and their emotion, their very innards, their very life process. I hold that kind of relationships with people, where my life energy reverberates with their life energy. That is intimate. That's really intimate. Body rubbing, okay, it's maybe a necessity at a certain stage of one's life, it's okay. We are not trying to make it right or wrong, it's one's choice. But don't make that the basis of friendship. Why can't you be friend with every girl and every boy around you? Hello? So, essentially you're asking, at what age should I go into sexually oriented relationships? Is that what you're asking? But I think you'll be doing a great service to yourself and to the world if you remove this boyfriend-girlfriend business and call it something else. Call them your what? Romance or your love affair or whatever, because friend, the word friend must be released from the body. It's very important. Otherwise, friendships won't happen. Everybody will be like this, because if I say you're my friend, she's afraid. Unnecessarily, isn't it? If I say she's my friend, she will fear, what is he up to? How is he my friend? Release the word friend from the body, it's very important. Let friendships happen all over. Well, body-based relationships happens with another individual, that's different, that's your choice. At what age? See, when you're in education. If you don't take charge of these instruments at this stage in your life, believe me, your own body, your own mind will trip you in so many ways right through your life. You won't ride them, they will ride you. That should not happen. At this stage in your life, let the focus fundamentally be on how to grow yourself to the best possible place within yourself. Don't be in a hurry to live. Living will happen a little later. If you live too early, you will not live too well. Don't try to live too early. I am not a moralistic person to tell you, do this, don't do this. If somebody has such a compulsive need, they can do it. But everybody need not make it a trend that if you're in college, you must have a sexually oriented relationship with somebody. There is no compulsion like that. There is no such rule that it must be so. One can grow. There is a… I've spoken this before, but I must tell you this. Among the mango farmers, there is a practice. If you… across India, this is well known. If you plant a mango sapling, within 12–14 months, flowering will happen when the season comes. A mango farmer meticulously removes every flower from the plant because if you let it go, it will bear fruit. 1 or 2 fruits will come out of this little plant. Only those which are not allowed to fruit up to 3 to 4 years will become full-blown trees and bear lot of fruit. Those plants which bear fruit too early will never become full-fledged trees. So a mango farmer has this wisdom, he keeps on nipping off every flower. Similarly, human beings should not be in a rush to live. The important thing is, before you try to live, you are in a place high enough so that life will roll out well for you. You live too early, then it could become an uphill task all your life. And tomorrow, many turmoils are happening. See, if you go to Western universities, right now I was just at Ross Business School just this week. I was at Ross Business School, then in Harvard Business School, and if you look there, I don't know what's the percentages, but people tell me, or if you just look around, you will see, most of the faces there are Indians, Chinese, and like this. Only about 40% are Caucasian race or American white, though they are the majority population there. Why this is happening is, these Indian families and Chinese families, their children have a certain support system and they have to live with their parents till they are 25 or so, till they finish their university. But generally the white families, by the time they're 18, they're out of their families, they're all living with their partners. They're going through emotional stuff, they have to make some money for that, and daily evening they have to take care of their partners, no time to go to the library, no time to study. All the toppers are Indians, Jewish community and Chinese. You just see across the universities in United States. So what does this mean? A whole lot of Americans are not even finishing university simply because they have a boyfriend and a girlfriend going, and it will not always go smooth, things will happen, daily turmoils, problems, you know. Every day these things are happening. Now, you need to understand that this is a time of your life when you're at the highest level of energy. At this stage in your life, if you create a certain focus and balance within yourself, this energy will translate into something fantastic. But at this stage in your life, if you do not bring focus and balance and you earn it, let's say when you're 40, 45, you will not have the same energy. This is something that youth don't understand, that they think this level of energy will be there all your life. No, 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 it will pass. It is just a question of 8 to 12 to 15 years maximum. From the age of 14 to 30, there is a certain upsurge of energy. At this time, if you learn how to manage this, keep a balance and focus to your life, you bring a focus to your life, this life will function and play at a higher level of life. If you don't bring those things and you're in a hurry to live, then you will see it becomes an uphill task. Not that you won't make it at all, you may make it, but unnecessary struggles through life. So it's individual choice. If somebody has such a strong compulsion, they may go for it. Don't make it a trend that if you're in a college, you must have a body-based relationship, not necessary.
I often find myself in a situation where I'm not happy with myself. I compare my abilities, achievements, and even my appearance with that of others. And I think that's one reason for my low self-esteem. How do you think I can build up on my self-esteem and get rid of the self-hatred that I have?
Well, this self-esteem, this self-confidence, all these things unfortunately have been sold a lot on the planet. Why do you need esteem? Why do you need esteem? Esteem is because you want to be little one-up on somebody else all the time. Unfortunately, our education systems were made like this, right from kindergarten. Who is first, who is second, who is third? You want to be first. So, your sense of happiness is only when everybody is doing worse than you. What kind of life is that? Why are we structuring our lives like this, that if everybody is doing badly, I will feel great? I think it's sickness. Hello? You think it's joy or sickness, please tell me. If all of you are doing badly, I feel great because I am number one now. No, this should go. From an early age, unfortunately, this is being imposed upon a child's mind that you have to be on top of everybody else. This is like, I want you to just imagine if this happened to other creatures. Let's say it happened to the plants and trees and animals. If an ant wants to become like an elephant, that is going to be a terrible ant-elephant, isn't it? Suppose a mango tree wants to become like a coconut tree. It will be a horrible mango tree because with one branch like this, no mangoes will come out of this. A mango tree is like this, a coconut tree is like that. That's how it should be. This has happened because in so many ways, people have put these things into your mind, what is good, what is bad, what is high, what is low, what is up, what is down. Because of this, you have never paid attention to every aspect of life in the sense. Maybe humanities people and lawyers and what are you? Huh? Oh, the accounting people. You never paid attention to these things. I spend a lot of time paying attention to all kinds of creatures, ants and grasshoppers and worms and everything. If you observe, let's say an ant, or let's pick up something little more than an ant, like a grasshopper, it's easier to see him. If you look at him carefully, whoever created this grasshopper has paid as much attention to a grasshopper as they have paid to this one. Please pay attention and see. When the source of creation has given equal attention to ant and you, who the hell are you to think an ant is a lowly creature and you are some superhuman being? Why are you making this judgment? Creation has not made this judgment. You may think you're superior simply because you're, in a blatant manner, you're walking on this planet, but that's not true. The fact of the matter is like this. See, if all the worms on this planet, right now if all of them die, all the worms, in about 12 to 18 months, all life on this planet will cease, everything, including you and me. Suppose all the insects die today, in something like 2.5 to 4 years' time, all life will cease. But if all the human beings die, the planet will flourish. Yes, we make good manure. If Human beings go away, right through this building trees will grow, isn't it? Yes or no? Everything will flourish. So, who the hell is telling you that you are the most significant life? This idea that the cosmos is human-centric is a stupid idea. In this cosmos, even this solar system is a tiny speck. Tomorrow morning if the entire solar system evaporates, nobody will notice it. That's how small it is. In that tiny speck, planet Earth is a microspeck. In that microspeck, Bengaluru is a super microspeck. In that, you are a very big person with great self-esteem. This is not a simple problem. People suffer this for their whole life without handling it. Essentially, it is just this. You have gotten yourself into a place where most human beings are in this place, you get yourself into a place where you cannot handle your own thought process and your emotion. That's all. You meet 50, 60-year-old people, they've still not figured how to handle their thought and emotion. These are basic faculties. When the hell are you going to learn how to use your thought and emotion? Suppose you're 20 years of age and you still don't know how to use your fingers, people will say you're handicapped, isn't it? You are whatever age you are and you still don't know how to use your thought and emotion, are you handicapped too? Hello? Are you or are you not? You are, you're crippling yourself. Why has this happened? Is simply because you have made unnatural divisions in the existence, which don't exist anywhere else except in human mind. Yes? Nowhere else does it exist except in human mind. Because you're a little girl, can I call you a little girl?
Yes, you can.
I'm telling you the boys, she's not a little girl for me, she's a little girl. When my daughter was growing up, she grew up with me traveling all over the place. When she was 3.5 months of age, she's traveling with me alone. I'm driving all over India with her in the strapped to the seat of the car. So, she grew up like this and every day we're in some different family. People are wonderful, but there is a problem with the adults. The moment they see a child, they want to teach the child something that's not worked in their life. You should see, this urge is so compulsive. The moment they see a child, they have to teach. They have to teach. So I made one rule, see, you can play with her as much as you want, you can talk to her, but nobody is going to teach her anything. But Sadhguru, she won't learn anything, ABC at least 1, 2, 3. I said, no 1, 2, 3. Then they said, she won't know how to count even her fingers. I don't care. If she doesn't know how to count her fingers, as long as she knows how to use her fingers, I don't care. She thinks she has 1,000,000 fingers, what's my problem? But they want to teach 1, 2, 3, ABC, Mary had a little lamb. I said, I don't care whether Mary had a lamb or no lamb. You're not going to teach her anything. So nobody taught her anything. She's all ears, everybody treated her… because if you have nothing to teach, you have to treat somebody like your equal. So she grew up, by the time she's 2.5, 3 years of age, she can speak in terms of remembering about 700 to 800 names, all adults. She thinks they're all her friends. Because everybody spoke to her like she's an adult. And I would not have sent her to school, but my schedule went totally crazy and I had to put her in some school. So when she was 12, 13 years of age, one day she came back home and something that happened at school disturbed her. So she came and came to me and said, "You're teaching everybody so many things, you're not telling me anything." I said, "See, I don't do it unsolicited. Now that you've come, just sit down. This is all you have to know. Never look up to anybody." She looked at me like this, "What about you?" kind of thing. I said, "Especially me, because the moment you look up to me, you will miss it completely. If you look at me just the way I am, there is a lot of value to it. If you look up to me, what will you do? Probably take my picture and nail it to your wall, like you nailed so many people who are of value in this world. You just look at me for what I am, don't look up to me, and never look down on anybody. This is all. Never look up to anything, never look down on anything. If you see everything just the way it is, everything has immense value. Everybody has a place and value to their life, isn't it? Every creature has value. Because we did not realize that, how many things we have destroyed in this world? Simply because we think this is valuable, this is not valuable. There is nothing here that is not valuable, everything has its value. Maybe you are not able to see it. So don't set yourself up like this, you versus the rest of the world. It's a bad competition to get into. You want to be number one on this planet. It's a horrible place. Everybody below you and you up. Is it a good place to be? I think it's a sick place. This attitude of wanting to be ahead of somebody needs to go. Well, for fun in a game or something you compete, that's different. Life is not a competition, life is not a race. If life is a race, you must get to the finish line soon. If you think life is a race, you must be at the finish line today, I can tell you how. You want to go there? No. This is not a race. This is a tremendous privilege that we have come as human beings. This means our ability to experience life is of a much larger proportion than any other creature on this planet. That is the significance of who we are, yes? We can experience life in many more vivid ways than how an ant can experience, how a grasshopper can experience, how somebody else can experience. This is our privilege. Instead of experiencing life, we are trying to win the race. If you win the race, you should be in the crematorium today. You don't need any self-esteem. In this culture, if you don't know this, there may be people with names like this, there will be one Ramadas, one Krishna Das, one whatever. What this means is people are consciously taking the name of being a slave, because a joyful, willing slave is a tremendous human being. Only somebody who's been enslaved by somebody is a different matter. But willingly, I'm willing to do whatever is needed in this world, is a wonderful slave, isn't it?
In modern medicine and modern science, there's a tendency to identify consciousness, mind and brain, make mind a function of the brain, consciousness a function of the mind, and to treat them chemically and to alter them chemically, and that well-being is good chemistry of the brain, higher consciousness is good chemistry of the brain, and unhappiness is bad chemistry of the brain. Nobody's responsible, but we need to change the chemistry to make it better. Now, in the yogic thought, brain, mind, and consciousness are three different things, but they're related at a certain level. So my question to Sadhguruji is the nature of brain, mind, and consciousness, how we can use the brain and mind in the proper way without getting stuck in them, and the model of healing that is based on more consciousness than brain chemistry.
In the yogic sciences, there is no such thing as brain. Brain is just body. Like there is a heart, like there's a liver, there is a brain, it's just body. I think this overly exaggerated sense of what is brain is coming because as I mentioned it in the morning hour here, our education systems have become purely intellectual. We think intellect is everything. Let me… I will try to say it in a very brief way. When you say something very complex in a brief way, there will be holes in it. Please pick the holes if you find them, otherwise I'm okay. In the yogic system, we are looking at the human mind as 16 parts. These 16 parts are in 4 categories. The first one is buddhi. Buddhi means the intellect. Intellect, I'm asking you, do you want your intellect sharp or blunt? All of you must choose, I'm going to bless you. You want it sharp. So intellect is essentially like a knife. You use a knife to cut things open. This is the nature of the intellect. Whatever you give it, it will dissect. The entire modern science is coming out of human intellect. So everything is by dissection. If you give this flower to the scientist, they will rip it open and see. If you rip it open and see, yes, of course, there are many facts you will know about the flower, only thing is you won't have the flower after that. And now if you really want to know something, let's say you really want to get to know your mother, please don't dissect her. That's not the way it works. Because what you can know by dissection is material aspect of life. You cannot know life by dissection. Only the material and the physical can be dissected. But now we are using our intellect to understand the entire gamut of things. Now we try to dissect. We go on talking about unifying the world and unity and enlightenment, everything with intellect. This is like using a knife to stitch something. If you stitch something with a knife, you leave it in tatters. So you are seeing this, the more knowledge you gather about something, the more misunderstanding and further away from truth we are becoming, not because information is bad, because we are trying to stitch with a knife. So intellect is like a knife, it must be sharp, it is a survival instrument. If you did not have a discriminatory intellect, you would not be surviving on this planet, it's very, very vital. But survival is all that it can do. But intellect cannot function unless there is a certain volume of memory. If you wipe out all your memory, it doesn't matter how… whatever your IQ is right now, if you take off all your memory, you will suddenly look stupid. You may be still intelligent, but you look stupid. This always happens in India. People are putting rural children and urban children together and testing them. Just because of the volume of information that the urban child has, he looks smart. A rural child looks stupid, but you put them in real situations, you will see they will come out so smart because their intelligence is fully on. So, intellect looks smart only when you back it up with lot of information, and hence you see information technology and everybody is mad about information. They're not looking into their phones simply for waste of time, because only with all that bits and pieces of data, they look smart among their friends in the society in which they live. It's only with data they can look smart. Without data, they can't do one thing smart. I'll just tell you an example. We have two different types of schools. One is a modern kind of school where 30% of the children coming from United States in India, and another is a completely traditional school where we teach them only yoga, classical dance, classical music, Kalaripaitu, the mother of all martial arts, Sanskrit language and English language. They don't go through any academics as such. This was a few years ago. Little ones, they all run to the place to hand wash. Hand wash is at this height. Many of these 6, 7-year-olds can't reach. So all this, those who are going through modern education, they will go and stand there in a very civilized way, wait for a teacher or somebody to come and put a bench. They will climb on the bench and then wash. These other kids ran there, the older ones bend down, the younger ones climb on top of them, wash and run away. So, too much orientation towards intellect and the other dimensions of intelligence are completely uncultivated today. So the next dimension of the mind is referred to as ahankara, which we have completely ignored. Ahankara does not mean ego as most people are beginning to think, it means identity. What are you identified with? Because intellect is essentially an instrument to protect the identity that you have taken on. If I say I'm Indian, suddenly my intellect makes me think that way, makes me willing to live and die for it. You will see just a piece of cloth, if you show, I mean a flag, people will have tears in their eyes. Just the identity. If you had put them somewhere else and shown another flag, the same thing would happen. In India, Pakistan, it's very striking because it was one nation and suddenly somebody drew a line and the entire emotion, the way it works is amazing, simply because you got identified with this or that. So intellect is an instrument which protects the identity. Identity is that instrument which allows the intellect to function in a certain way. When I say a certain way, suppose you're identified just with this, me as a person. Your intellect will do only this to protecting you all the time. All the time just doing this. Now I say, my identity is my family. Now your intellect will do everything to protect that. Or you say a community, a race or a religion or a nation. In the name of race, religion, nation, how many things we have done which are utterly idiotic and inhuman, but we do it with great pride because we are identified, because this is the nature. If we have to continue that analogy, if intellect is the knife, the hand that holds it is the identity. You tell me, in handling a knife is important that it must be sharp, but whether it becomes destructive or productive is determined by the hand that holds it, isn't it? But in today's society, in today's world, there is no cultivation of the hand at all. The smaller and smaller identities that we are creating will inevitably cause disturbance within the human being and in the world. There is no other way. Right from ancient times, in Eastern cultures, always we have been taught to have a cosmic identity, aham brahmasmi. At the age of 12, you must know aham brahmasmi, this means I am the cosmos. Without identifying with a limitless identity, no education should be given. Only after identity is fixed, then education. Because without the right kind of identity, education becomes destructive, because you have a limited identity. We can say whatever we want, but essentially all crime, all evil, all most terrible things that we do is just a question of limited identity, isn't it? This is my way, that is your way, this is my country, this is your country, this is my religion, this is your religion. This is all it is. So without cultivating the identity, we are sharpening the knife. We have an unsteady hand, but we are sharpening the knife and arming it with memory. So the next dimension of the mind is called manas, which is a silo of memory. Here there are 8 dimensions of memory. This starts from elemental memory, atomic memory, evolutionary memory, karmic memory and conscious memory, unconscious memory, articulate memory, inarticulate memory. Like this, there are many states of memory. As we already looked at this body carries the memory of everything that's happened on this planet. If we pay enough attention, we can know simply by looking at this how evolution has happened. Only 150 years ago, Charles Darwin talked about evolution by studying life on the planet. But over 15,000 years ago, Adi Yogi spoke about how life evolved. He said, first, almost every Indian person is knows it but not conscious of it, is the 10 avatars. You must be studying much of it. The first one is fish or water life, next one is amphibious, next one is a mammal, next one is half man, half animal, next one is a dwarfed man, next one is a full-grown man but volatile, next one is a peaceful man, next one is a loving man, next one is a meditative man, next one is supposed to be the mystical man. This is not one-man story, this is the evolution of life on this planet. So 15,000 years ago, somebody spoke about this by not looking into the microscope, but looking inward, because the entire evolutionary story is written here. So the yogic system is focused on this as to how to activate different dimensions of memory, because without that, with limited amount of memory, you are bound to act in immature ways. So if your intellect becomes super capable, then it's very, very important your identity is cosmic, limitless identity, and your memory is evolved, that all dimensions of memory are active. These three function in a certain way, some people have evolved it in certain ways, but largely it is happening in a very skewed way, too much of intellect and other things are very minimalistic. The fourth dimension of intelligence is referred to as chitta. This is a dimension of intelligence which is unsullied by memory. See, we must understand this. We are who we are only because of the memory that we carry. From the color of our skin to what we identify with, what we are, whether we are male or female or everything is a question of memory. It is the memory stored in this which is deciding all these aspects. Whether I am a human being or some other creature is also a question of memory. Memory is a tremendous possibility, but memory is also a limitation and a boundary. What is you and what is me is right now, the boundary of this is just memory. What I remember in my system and what you remember in your system is the boundary. So memory is also a boundary. Memory is the basis of all forms that have happened. There is a certain memory which creates patterns, which patterns in turn create physical forms. The way we are, the kind of form that we have taken is essentially out of the basic memory that is there. Never it got confused in the sense, suppose you and a cow every day start eating mangoes. Never it happens that one day by accident or by lapse of memory, the cow became human or you became a cow. Both of you eat the same food every day, but it will not happen because the memory is so strongly instilled at various levels. We are recognizing 8 different dimensions of memory, but chitta has no memory. No memory means no boundary, an intelligence beyond bounds. In the yogic culture, there is a mischievous way of expressing this. We say, if you touch your chitta, God will become your slave, because your intelligence becomes boundless, everything becomes within access. So, it is very important because this is the first time, we must understand this. This is the first time where our survival process is as organized as it is today. This is the first time that human beings have so much time to look at things, otherwise just putting the food together would take 24 hours. Once again, in affluent societies, we are going back to the same thing. As you said, in Montana, somebody has to work 3 jobs when so much land is there. Why do you need to do a job to make your food? No, because you want to buy it in Walmart. I'm saying we've just kind of twisted the entire thing. For the first time, our survival… For example, today you go into your superstore, what you need for next 1 year, you can buy, bring it home and not step out of your house for the next 1 year. It's possible, never before it was possible. Today morning's water if you have to get means you have to walk down to the river or the pond or something. For the first time, our survival process is so enormously organized, this is the time for humanity. This is the time for humanity to explore deeper dimensions of life. So this is the nature of a human being. Whatever you're deprived of, You think that is the highest thing. Whatever you don't have, looks like at that moment, that is the highest. If you have not eaten for 2 days, food will be God. Yes or no? Yeah. If you don't understand this, close your mouth, hold your nose like this for 2 minutes. Will you ask for air or God? Yeah. God comes and says, you want me or air? You'll say, hell with you, I want to breathe. Because whatever at that moment you're deprived of, that takes on enlarges itself in such a way, it blocks everything out. Or in other words, when you're in any state of compulsiveness, you don't see anything the way it is, it gets exaggerated. If your bladder is full, 1 minute, I'm talking about enlightenment. Your bladder is very full. Are you interested? I don't want any enlightenment. Right now, going to the bathroom feels like ultimate liberation. Yes or no? So just about anything. When you're in a state of compulsiveness, you don't see anything the way it is. Life will get distorted to make you think that that is it at that moment. So like this, human life passes from one compulsive state to another, never allowing yourself that little bit of space where you could see things the way they are. If you do not even see life the way it is, can you handle it the way it needs to be handled? It doesn't arise, isn't it? If you don't see things the way they are, you can never handle it the way it needs to be handled. Because of this, in many ways, individual human lives and whole societies have become distorted humanity. When I say distorted, it's normal, I mean normal. I was talking to a 14, 15-year-old kids in a school. And I couldn't believe that I was talking to about 11, 12 of them, young boys and girls. And something came up and I was just asking them what are they going to do next because they were in their 10th standard or something. They're only talking about finding a job and earning a living. I couldn't believe this because my whole life I never thought of earning a living. My dear father used to break his head, this boy has no fear in his heart, what will happen to him, what will happen to him? I said, not having fear is a problem? I thought fear is a problem. I never thought not having fear is a problem. So, according to the dictates of the divine, I was supposed to become a doctor because my father is a doctor. At the age of 10, I told him, no, that's one thing I'm not going to be, I'm not going to be a doctor. But every day somebody is trying to work on me, you must become a doctor, you must become a doctor. You know, Indian family, you must become a doctor. If you cannot… Of course, now they've all shifted to software. I was in Chicago, just a 8-day just 2 days ago I came to India, so 1 week ago, 8 days ago, I was in Chicago and an Indian person came and I asked, okay, what are you doing? What else, Sadhguru? That means he's a software engineer. There was a time if you said what else, you were a doctor. Now if you say what else, it means you're a software engineer. It is not because they're phenomenally interested in human physiology they became doctors, not because they have an electronic this thing they became a software engineer, just to earn a living. Is it not important? I'm not saying it's not important, all I'm saying is, even an ant which has 1/1,000,000th of your brain is capable of earning a living. What's your problem with such a big brain? Why I'm saying this is, this idea, this horribly limiting idea has been imposed into our youth that you must earn a living and that's the biggest thing. It's this big brain. Earning a living is actually a problem on this planet. I know everybody's been conditioned to believe that. It is not so, I'm telling you. It is not so. Earning a living is a petty thing for human consciousness, but unfortunately, whole humanity is investing all its energies and intelligence in just earning a living. If this one thing does not change in the world, that… I'm not saying one should not, all I'm saying is, it need not occupy the entirety of human consciousness to earn a living. If you put one little finger to work, it'll earn a living. It's capable, this is capable of that. All human genius has been smothered to death simply because everybody is thinking how to earn a living, how to earn a living, you know. The moment they can earn a living, they will sit down and become fat. You must be saying, what can I do with this life, isn't it? Yes? You must be saying, what is the greatest thing I can do with this life? Because one day you'll fall dead, do you know? Do you know you'll fall dead one day? So before you die, whatever is the peak possibility for this life should happen, isn't it? I earn my living, I earn my living. This is a big pride. Why don't you see every insect, every worm, every bird, every animal, every creature on this planet is earning a living? What is there to be so proud of about I earn my own living? Everybody's earning their own living, isn't it? Only human beings are making a big issue out of it. Too big a issue. When I look at it, how human intelligence has been sacrificed at the altar of earning a living is unbelievable. How many things human beings could have done, how many incredible things they could have done, but instead of that, they're earning a living. So it's very, very important. I'm just thinking we should start a wave, particularly in schools and colleges, that earning a living is a damn little thing. It is not the prime of your life. With one little finger you can earn a living. With this big brain, when an ant can earn its living, this big brain, should it struggle to earn a living? That has become a problem because you want to be like somebody else, isn't it? You want to be like somebody else, that enslaves you. And once you're into this chakra, nothing else is possible, it just keeps you going and going and going endlessly. Now this possibility of This simple thing called yoga is not about twisting your body, it's not about getting fit, it's not about getting healthy. All these things nature will do for you, if only if you live in tune with it. This is about understanding the geometry of the cosmos through the geometry of your own system. I'm calling this a geometry because cosmos is a geometry, isn't it? Planet Earth is going around the sun. What is it? A diesel powered? Think a big diesel engine is pushing it? If it was, the roar of that engine would have killed us. Just the perfection of geometry, it just keeps going and going and going, isn't it? You've seen those perpetual machines? Have you seen those little ones? If you just do it like this, for years on end it's going. So this is just that, it's a perfection of geometry which keeps it going and going and going. The whole universe is geometrically perfect, that's why it stays there, otherwise it wouldn't. And if you learn to hold your body in a certain way, if the geometry of your body is in alignment with the geometry of the rest of the creation, suddenly you will find there is a rapport which will allow you can download the whole cosmos into this one. This is not a tiny little… If you simply like this, if you live, you're just a piece of flesh and bone. If you just get it right, suddenly this is something else. Probably these days, you don't have this experience anymore because you got all Tata Sky, dish net and all that stuff. But if suppose you had a television in your home in 80s when first the Doordarshan came, you are watching your favorite cricket match, suddenly your television was boop, boop, boop. Then you climb up the terrace and there is one aluminum contraption. If you do like this, nothing will come. If you do like this, nothing will come. You just get it to the right place. The world pours into your sitting room. This is just like that. If you learn to just hold it right, the whole cosmos will pour into you. So, this is engineering yourself. It does not mean engineering yourself to breathe little better, to be little more healthy, no. This is about realizing the full potential of what it means to be human. This pretty widespread manifestation of thyroid imbalance. So we must understand this. What you calling as thyroid, in yoga we don't look at the glands like that. But medically, what you calling as thyroid is that secretion within you which is trying to calibrate your system on a daily basis. It's just calibrating how much digestion should happen, how much energy should be produced, how much fat should be produced, how much muscle should be built, everything. It's trying to calibrate your physical structure. Your physical structure is very closely related to your psychological structure. Today, there is substantial evidence to show you that if you sit here and think of the mountain, your glandular function will happen in a certain way. If you think about a tiger, it'll happen another way. You think about an ocean, it'll happen another way. You think of a man or a woman, it'll happen another way. Just a thought, nothing. No contact with mountain, no contact with tiger, no contact with man, woman or ocean. Just a thought will fluctuate the glandular function. I'm saying that is how fine the system is, that it is trying to calibrate everything to keep you in a good place. The problem with you is, you need a bullock cart because you are the missing link. You need a bullock cart, but they gave you a fine spaceship. Every little thing will do a world of things. Simply if you touch it, go boom, waves of stuff happening in the system. Simply if you look like this and make one conclusion about the tree, this will go into many varieties of chemical and other kinds of variations. Glandular functions will change. Wherever you may be, whether you're in Mumbai or New York or London, wherever, just look at the situation in which you're walking. Maybe socially you've gotten used to those things, but look at the kind of atmosphere you're walking in, the number of things that are happening, none of them are conducive for this life. You might have gotten adjusted to it. Maybe now you can't live out of those cities, that's another matter. But the life that you are is not seeking that kind of atmosphere. So the number of variations that are happening within you are not in your favor. Glandular dysfunction is just one manifestation. A very highly calibrated function of glandular function, one thing is the thyroid. It's easily noticeable. The first thing, your physiological and psychological parameters get thrown off a bit, simply because disturbance. And another dimension is what's the disturbance that's happening from within you, your own psychological patterns. Another dimension of disturbance is what kind of food is getting into you. There is no way you can eat anything today which is not chemically infested. If you're eating very organic food, it's little organic chemicals they're using. It's come to that place. It's very difficult to eat something that's just grown in the wild forest, you can pluck out something and eat. That's very, very little, not even a small percentage of people are capable of eating that anymore. It's all from the marketplace. And what goes into the marketplace is all about more, not about what. And also this, in this country, all these things are gone now, don't worry. My grandmother, every day the vegetable seller, they used to come home with a basket. Just then in the morning they would have plucked, by 7:38 they're at the doorstep. When they come, and she will look at this, when she wants to buy it, she won't allow the vegetable seller to touch the vegetables. They plucked and brought it. It's fresh, just now it's come off the plant. But if it has to go into the balance or if she has to choose 1, 2, 3, 4 like this, she won't let them touch it. You don't touch my vegetables. This is not to keep bacteria away. She doesn't want that woman or that man to touch the vegetables that her children and grandchildren will eat. She will touch it in a certain way. She will fondle it, she'll caress it, she'll look at it like this, and then she will cut it and make it. Don't think this is all funny. If all these things are missing in your life, you have to take pills to manage your glandular function, and there is no way by popping a pill you can get it into balance, you can suppress it. You cannot get it into proper balance, no way, because every day it's different, every moment it's different. This is calibration, a very active calibration that's happening. You kill it and just take a pill and somehow manage. You are a little dysfunctional machine. With this dysfunction, this dysfunctional machine will manifest in so many ways, and you will only know it when you stretch it. When you're living with minimal stuff, it won't show up. It's like this. See, even if you have a flat tire on your car, at 20 kilometers you can drive home, you know. Some things will crack up, some things will tear up, but still you can drive. Only if you're hitting 200 kilometers per hour, then if the tire goes flat, then you know you fly off the road. So that's all it is. If all these things are taken care of well, now when you rev up your life to function at a much higher level, simply it'll go. Now you rev up your life without bringing that balance, then you see it'll freak. You will see this happening all around you every day. So, to invest that much into our lives, well, you can't leave your city and go and live in the jungle. You can't leave the atmospheres and go away. At least you must equip yourself so that those things don't have too much impact on you. It'll anyway have impact, but how much is the question? How much impact? At least within your home, surround yourself with some plants. If there is no space, fill your room. This is going to have some freaky bedrooms. Open up half the roof. Oh, but there's another floor above, Sadhguru. Okay, open up the damn walls so that some sunlight comes into you. Yes. Not everything is closed and just one air conditioner is going brrrr all the time. This is one thing, the reverberations around you are freaking this body completely, all the time, brrrr. Particularly when I'm outside the country, particularly in United States. Even in Europe it's a little better. In United States, all the time something is buzzing, endlessly. When I come here, it's like, you know, just still, which makes you alive. Everything is buzzing, you're like most people are not conscious of it, but it's happening to them. The very fact that they're sleeping 8 hours a day is just that they are not living in their natural habitat. They are trying to protect themselves by sleeping. So, to protect yourself from disease, to protect yourself from mental illnesses, to protect yourself from all kinds of imbalances, you sleep 8–10 hours a day. This is half your life, you're dead. Death is always a good fix. But that's not the fix we are looking for. We are looking for a life fix, not an end fix. If you end something, it is fixed, isn't it? Fixed or no? Fixed, but not the way we want. We want to be here, alive and be fully fixed. So if this has to happen, you can. I know you may look freaky, even I will think you're freaky. But you can bring some plant life into place where you sleep. When you walk, you must always be conscious of the life other than human life. Most people are not even conscious of the human beings, so I'm reminding you, you must be conscious of everything that is alive. A tree, a plant, a blade of grass, a grasshopper hopping, and the people that you don't like are passing by. All kinds of things. You must be alive to everything. Don't need to do any, oh, I love the tree. You don't have to love the tree. You have to be nourished by it. That's the only way to live. You like it or not, it's nourishing you right now. Consciously, if you do it, everything will work better. Something as simple as being alive to everything around you, indiscriminately, may regularize your thyroid problems. Of course, morning hatha yoga is there, kriyas are there, all these things will definitely help, and the consecrated, powerfully consecrated spaces are there. Many things. One of the main reasons is human beings are becoming less and less active as technology grows. In a day, on an average human being, how much activity, physical activity they used to perform in the past, previous generations of people, and how much physical activity all of us are performing right now is abysmally low. With such a low level of activity, keeping the balance in the system is difficult. So little imbalance, don't go to bed. If you feel little imbalanced, you must jump into activity. Wherever activity is happening with some vigor and joy, you must jump into that activity and do more and more of it if you're feeling sick. Really. Because the moment you go back, you're empowering that. Well, if you're very ill, that's a different thing. But otherwise, you must… we are talking about essentially glandular dysfunction of various kinds. Activity is a simple solution for everything. And don't make activity, for those of you in New York, I'm telling you, don't make activity, you have that health band on your thing. 10 steps, 12 steps. Don't do this, that's not the way to do activity, you may get more sick by doing that. Simply, joyfully doing something. Being joyfully alive. Activity is, if you do not know how to sit here and be exuberantly alive, just go and play. Play a game, run around simply. Just imitate the grasshopper when you're walking. Try. Why not? You never did this. This is the problem with you. When you go now, I want to see you because you're going to walk on the grass. You better grow like a grasshopper. Chuk, 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 chuk. You will see how much aliveness will happen with you. Essentially, your fundamental problem is you have become bloody serious about your life. So, we have to again remind you, you will die anyway. Don't be so serious about it because it'll get over in no time. You must loosen the grip. Now if you loosen the grip, that last scene can be different. Otherwise, people see you, that's a great thing that happened to you. You loosen the grip. Now itself if you loosen the grip, you will see life will happen wonderfully well for you.
Yes. Is it okay to chant mantras without knowing the meaning?
Mantras have no meaning. See, there are two dimensions to a mantra. Mantras are not supposed to have any meanings in the tradition. There are different types of mantras. Unfortunately, the mantras which are normally known, they have given them meanings so that people can involve. Because there are lots of idiotic people who cannot involve with anything that's meaningless. That is why they miss the sunrise, the sunset, the moon, the full moon, everything they miss because it's meaningless. What is the meaning of a full moon? There is no meaning, only if you're in love it means a lot. Otherwise, what is it? Nothing. It's not meaningful means it is not useful. So, all the idiots on the planet will do only meaningful things. Yes, because they have no intelligence to recognize life and the many facets of life. It is not because you have attached a stupid meaning to it, it exists. It exists beyond you. It existed before you, it will exist beyond you. It is not because you give it a meaning, it's become useful or not useful. So the stupid in the world will do meaningful things. They may be intellectual, but life stupid, they have no life sense. If you have life sense, you will see it is the most meaningless things which really set you on fire, isn't it so? No? So they created two kinds of mantras. One larger set of mantras which have no meaning, just pure sound. You will see this in our music also. The Yaksha program happened just now, and many of our people who are looking for meanings were thoroughly bored because they're doing alap for 40 minutes. Say something, say at least Shiva, Shambho, something. No, They're not getting the point because it's about the sound. Why sound so much more important than a word which is a meaning? Meanings are made up in human minds. Sound is the essence of creation. If you touch the sound, you're touching creation. If you touch a word, you're just going into the psychological structure of human beings. Psychological structure of human beings is essentially a certain kind of madness. We can enjoy it, we can use it, but essentially it's a certain kind of illusory setup. Sound is a fundamental aspect of creation. If you have mastery over sound, you have mastery over creation itself in a certain way, because creation is just a complex amalgamation of sounds. It's the blueprint of creation. But meanings are human things. You know, the same words mean different things in different languages, even in India. You know this. The same word means different things because it's all made up. The sound is not made up. Sound is part of the creation. Sound is part of the existence. Sound is part of making the creation happen. Right now, the whole creation is reverberating in a certain way. You cannot hear it, it doesn't matter. But the words and meanings are a human making. It is meaningful only as a conspiracy. When I say a conspiracy, do you hear what the cricket is saying? What is he saying? You don't know, but they're talking. They're also like you. Some of them are just making sound, just doing alap. Just sound, simply enjoying the sound. Enjoying the creation in one sense means enjoying the sound of it. If you don't have a keenness to listen, if you don't have a keenness to pay attention, you cannot enjoy any aspect of creation, actually. You will only enjoy psychological patterns in your head. So this is the reason why most human beings want to speak, most of the time they want to be talking. Not because they have something to say, because they have to find meaning. Simply, either silence or sound, both are too overwhelming. That is why when we say spiritual process, first thing is silence. If you are psychologically very stable, you may say, okay, 30 days silence, 60 days silence. If you're psychologically fragile, we'll say, okay, 3 days. 3 days also people go crazy, we'll say, okay, half a day silence, up to noon silence, after that you blabber. They usually make it up afternoon. Those of you who talk a lot, you know, meaning is meaningless. You can simply talk. A whole lot of people are experts, they can simply speak without any meaning. They have understood the importance of sound. They can go on talking without making any meaning. Now, if you were a bird, we would pardon you. If you were this one, we would be okay. Or if you're a musician, you would be okay to make meaningless sounds. If you're speaking, you're expected to make some meaning. So mantra is not to be spoken, it is to be chanted. Chanting means chant is of the sound, not of the meaning. Meaning is of speech, meaning is of the word, written word and spoken word. Meaning does not belong to a chant. A chant is simply a sound, a reverberation. So if you do not know the meaning, it's the best way to chant, if you ask me. simply, absolutely involved with the sound and saying it. But first of all, what you are uttering, is it a mantra or is it a bhajan or is it a sankirtan? You must look at it. If it's a mantra, mantra means a pure sound. It need not have any meanings. You can give it whatever meaning you want to start with, because without meaning you cannot be involved. But once you know how to be involved, you should not give it any meaning. Om Namah Shivaya does not mean you go on imagining one man sitting there on top of a mountain with something happening around him. No. Initially, if that's the only way you can be involved, you can look at the Shivakasi picture. Okay? Once you know how to be involved with the sound, you get rid of the man. He's not needed, he's a disturbance. I'm telling people in Sanyama, they're chanting. Their question is, if Shiva comes, I'm calling so many times, if he comes, just ignore him. Because that's not the thing about mantra. The mantra is that you involve yourself in the sound because you yourself, your physical thing is a certain pattern of sound. Right now you're trying to make yourself into a different pattern of sound so that this sound becomes an access point to the larger sound which you call as the cosmos. A larger arrangement of sounds is cosmic in nature. Now, you use a certain key sounds in a particular arrangement. You know, in the safes, the locks are called a combination lock. So you have to just get it right for it to open. So mantra is a combination. You get the right combination right, it will open up a doorway into creation. It is not the meaning. Whatever meaning you give it, however high or low you think the meaning is a made-up thing. It's a psychological process. It has no existential meaning. No word has any existential meaning. Right now, whatever English words we're uttering doesn't mean anything to the trees. But if you can actually, these experiments have been done. If you sit here and sing beautifully, I cannot do that, but if we sit here and sing really properly, the tree is full of flower. It could be because of yaksha. Okay, the rains have aided it, but do not discount the power of the sound. Do not discount the power of the sound, it has influence on everything. Or if you chant a mantra, the tree may respond to it. If you sing music, it may respond to it. If you just generate a thought, it may respond to it. But if you speak, it will not respond. This is true with the tree, this is true with the divine.
Thank you for devoting your time to us. Together, we can make a positive impact by sharing our insights and experiences with the world.